Hey guys, Justine here from Compass Tutoring. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can complete 10 multiple choice questions in 5 minutes. So if you look at the front of the HSC exam paper, it does state that you should allow about 15 minutes to complete the multiple choice section. The reason I want to show you that you can do it in 5 minutes is once again to reiterate the idea that some questions in the exam paper require more time and more effort than, say, multiple choice questions. So what that means is the less time you spend on multiple choice, the more time you have to maximize your marks in those harder questions. I'm going to showcase to you the strategies that you can use to think fast, work smarter, not necessarily harder, because if you think about it, these questions are only worth 1 mark. You don't want to be spending too much time on these questions. So I'll be thinking out loud, I'll be showing you the steps to getting the correct answer, and hopefully we can complete this in 5 minutes. Alrighty, let's start the watch. Okay, so the first question states, what is 4.09784 correct to 3 significant figures? So 3 significant figures is 4.097. So the 7 rounds up the 9 to a 10. So you get 4.10. So that's B. Next question says, which of the following is equal to this? Now you can rationalize and work through to the answer. The best way to do this is find the solution. Pop this straight into your calculator, which I'm doing so right now. So this is roughly 0.36495. So I'm going to work through each one and see which one I get closest to there. So the first one, 2 root 5 minus root 3 over 7. So that one, we get 0.3914, so it's definitely not that one. Next one, 2 root 5 plus root 3 over 7, I get 0.886, definitely not that one. It's not 0.3, so we can cross that one out. Next one, 2 root 5 minus root 3 over 17. What I get is 0.161, definitely not that. And finally we try D, so what we get is in fact 0.36495, which is that. Therefore our answer is D. Next question, it says the quadratic equation x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals 0 has roots alpha beta. Find the value of alpha beta plus alpha plus beta. So you know that alpha plus beta is negative b on a, so it's negative 3, and alpha beta is c on a, and C is negative 1, A is 1, negative 1. You just want to add these two together because that's what this states. Negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Answer C. Alrighty, next question. What the diagram shows the graph y equals f of x, which of the following statements is true? So we're looking at first derivative and second derivative. So at point A, I draw a tangent and I see that my tangent is positive. Therefore, my first derivative has to be greater than 0, ruling out C and D. And I look at the concavity at that point and I see it's concave down, which means my second derivative has to be negative, leaving me with answer A. Question 5, what is the perpendicular distance of the point to negative 1 from the line? In order to use the perpendicular distance formula, you need to have your straight line in general form. So I'm going to bring the y over, so I get 3x minus y plus 1 equals 0, and the point is 2, negative 1. So the perpendicular distance formula is the absolute of ax plus by plus c all over the square root of a squared plus b squared. And you just simply substitute that in. So a is the coefficient of x is the x coordinate, plus b is a negative, 1 times negative 1, plus 1 all over the square root of a squared, which is 3 squared, plus b squared, which is negative 1 squared. I pop that into my calculator. 6 plus 1 is 8 over the square root of 10, leaves me with option C. Next question. So question 6, the solutions to root 3 10x equals negative 1. So make 10x a subject, negative 1 over root 3. Tan is negative in 2 quadrants between 0 and 2 pi. So it's the first and it's the last, all stations to central. The acute angle is tan inverse of 1 over root 3. Should give you 30 degrees, which is pi over 6. That's the acute angle in the first quadrant. So the angle in the second and the fourth quadrant, you do pi minus pi on 6, gives you 5 pi on 6. And then 2 pi minus pi on 6 should give you 11 pi on 6, leaving you with option D. Let a equals e to the x, which expression is equal to log e a squared. Now a is e to the x, so e to the x squared is e to the 2x. Log laws state that you can bring the power down to become the coefficient. You get 2x equals log e of e. These cancel to give you 1. Your final solution is 2x, leaving you with option C. Question 8. The diagram shows the region enclosed by these two functions. Which of the following describes a shaded region? So we're going to take the parabola first. So you can see, I'm going to test for the point 0, 0. So this shaded region, if it wasn't confined by this line, would be part of the region 0, 0. So I'm going to test for the point 0, 0. So A is 0 squared is less than or equal to 4 minus 0. So 0 squared. So 0 squared is less than or equal to 4. That is in fact true. So we want it to be true because the shaded region involves a point 0, 0, ruling out options C and D. Now for the straight line, we're going to test for the point 0, 0, but we want it to be false. And the reason is because 0, 0 for the straight line is not part of the shaded region. So we test for that point, we get 0 is less than or equal to 0 minus 2. This is for option A over here. I get 0 is less than or equal to negative 2, which is false. And that's exactly what we want. We want it to be false. So it's option A. Question 9, what is the value of the integral of 1 over 3x? So I'm going to rewrite that, bringing 1 over 3x to the front, dx, with limits 4 and 1. I get 1 over 3. And that integrates to become ln x with my limits 4 and 1. I substitute each of those in. I get ln 4 minus ln of 1 gives me a third ln 4 because ln 1 is simply 0. That leaves me with option B. Finally, question 10. Alrighty. The graph of y equals f of x has been drawn to scale. Which of the following integrals has the greatest value? So you know when integrating, you're finding the area. So the greatest value is basically going to be the most positive area. Option A states between 1 and 0. 1 and 0 is roughly, I guess you could say this area over here, okay. Option B states between 0 and 2. 0 and 2 is roughly this shaded region over here, definitely larger than A, so we can rule out A. For option C, we're looking at an area between 7 and 0. So what that means is that we're looking at this purple region. Now, because we have all this negative area, a lot of this negative area is going to cancel with this positive area, leaving you only with this little section over here. Therefore, because there are some negative areas involved with the third integrals between 7 and 0, B is still larger than 7 and 0, and the same applies for 8. Because you have this large negative value, it's going to cancel with the positive values, leaving you with a smaller value. Therefore, your answer is B. All right, there you have it. Let's stop the watch. All right, so I have to say, wasn't exactly 5 minutes, a little bit over, but it was because I was explaining it as I was going. But I really want to show you guys how quickly and how, I guess, strategically you can work through these questions once you understand your concepts really, really well. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to check my answers. All right, I've just checked my answers, and that in fact was a 10 out of 10. Now, this isn't just because I understand the concepts to its core, but because I've really maximized my time in spending it wisely doing past papers. The more past papers you do, the better you get. The results are insane. If you're at that stage where you're stressed about studying for the trials, I urge you, pick up a pen, open up a past paper and do a past paper. Even though your content may have gaps, when you do the past paper, you can understand where those gaps lie and you can focus on those gaps, I guess, doing textbook questions. But you really need to condition yourself to exam style questions. That is the only way you will achieve a band 5, band 6 score in the HSC. Any more questions that you have regarding trial exams, trial papers, or HSC study, let me know by commenting below or contacting me. Thanks for watching.